Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar, How to Buy an RV in a Virtual World. My name is Jennifer Green-Neff, Director of Consumer Marketing at RV Trader, and I'm very excited to host this webinar. I have a special guest with us today, Paige Bouma, Executive Vice President of Sales and Operations at RV Trader. Paige is a true expert and RV enthusiast. Today we'll talk about how to buy an RV in a virtual world and help you make sense of the virtual shopping experience. And the great part about today is that Paige is here to share her personal stories and advice on the subject matter. Paige, can you give us a little bit of background on your RVing experience?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me today. So I've been in the RV industry both personally and professionally for about 15 years now. I consider myself extremely lucky to work in this industry, and even luckier because RVing is actually my passion. On most of my weekends, about 30 a year, I jump into my RV, which I consider to be my second home. I love to head to the dirt bike track with my two boys and my husband to race motocross on the weekends. And if we're not doing that, we are heading to a campground just to spend time together. So much of what I'm going to mention today is actually from my own experiences. I am thrilled to help more people get into RVing. It is absolutely the best.
Yeah, the world continues to move towards digital purchases being the norm, and RVs are no exception. So let's go ahead and jump into what I'll cover today around buying an RV in a virtual world. There are 7 important topics I want to walk you through, and whether you're a first-time buyer or you're searching for a second, third, or fourth RV, the tips and tricks I'll talk through today will help you along the way. I'll start with how to build your wish list, then go over how to determine your budget, how to choose what type of RV you want, and I'll walk you through some best practices when researching. Then, once you've found the RV you're interested in, tips on connecting with the seller, getting ready to buy and your virtual buying options, and finally, how to avoid fraud and scams online. The first thing you'll do is start building your wish list. If this is your first RV, know that buying an RV is a lot like buying a house or a car. For example, you know you have a certain wish list when you're shopping for a big purchase like that. You may want a house with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a fenced-in yard. You'd also like a space for an office and a 2-car garage, or you know you want an SUV, preferably a certain brand you're loyal to, with leather interior and a large trunk space. Those types of things, So you'll actually want to create a very similar list for your RV. So how do you do that? Apply the same logic when buying an RV. Ask yourself what features you'll need by considering these factors and start building your list. Primary things to consider are how much sleeping space you'll need, storage space, living space, kitchen space, and appliances you may need, if you prefer a new or used RV, if you prefer towing or driving the RV, and if you plan on traveling full-time or just weekends. Secondary things to consider are where you plan on parking your RV when it's not being used, where you'll be traveling and how far you'll go, what seasons you'll be traveling during, if you'll require electricity, heat, AC, running water, Wi-Fi, etc., if you'll have pets traveling with you, if you'll drive through city streets or narrow roads, if you'll need to haul extra toys like dirt bikes or PWCs, and if you're handy enough for renovations, if wanted or needed.
From there, make your wish list and include must-haves and nice-to-haves. For example, a family of 4 needs more sleeping accommodations than a retired couple. So, a must-have is that it sleeps 4 people comfortably, or maybe even more specifically, it has bunk beds. And if you're going to be doing things like hiking or kayaking, you're going to need ample storage space for any of your supplies. So, that would be another must-have. If you're not planning to rough it out in the wild and you would rather have all the comforts of home in your RV, you're going to want to add things like a full bathroom or a kitchen to your list. Or maybe on your nice-to-haves, you have a fireplace. And if you're planning to travel in the cold and or the hot climates, you're going to want to make sure that you have heating or an AC unit. For example, we want to bring our dirt bikes with us when we travel. So a 12-foot garage and lots of storage was big on our list.
Your nice-to-haves would consist of things that aren't necessarily deal breakers if an RV doesn't have them, but would be a bonus if they did. This might be things like an external awning for covered outdoor relaxation, or a mounted television and Wi-Fi capabilities for inside entertainment. Or maybe you hope to invite friends on some of your trips, so a nice-to-have would be some type of convertible or extendable space that adds storage or living area to the RV. The possibilities with RVs are truly endless, so it's important to make a list that meets you and your family's needs. Once you have your wish list ready, you'll need to determine your budget. How much can you afford to spend on an RV? When determining your budget, you also need to understand how financing works. There are a few options to consider, and I'll walk you through each one of these in more detail in this section. The first will be whether you will buy a new or used RV. You'll need to estimate your down payment and monthly payments. I'll talk through securing a loan and financing options. You'll also need to consider ongoing maintenance costs and insurance costs. And lastly, if it's an RV that will be towed by any other vehicle like a truck or SUV, you'll need to factor costs associated there too. So, new or used, how do you know which to choose? I'm highlighting only a few pros and cons for the purpose of this webinar. Pros of a new RV: you don't need a background check and you'll save on repair or maintenance costs because it's brand new. But you'll need to consider depreciation on a new RV. CamperReport.com says that depreciation in the first year is estimated to be about 21% and increases to 35 to 40% by year 5. Plus, a new RV will, of course, be more expensive, so you're looking at higher monthly payments.
Now, let's jump to a used RV. One of our first RVs was used. It's the most economical option with lower monthly payments than you would spend on a new RV. But there are cons with this option too. You'll definitely want to do a background check to see the history of the RV, which may or may not show areas of concern. Plus, repair and maintenance costs may be a little bit higher if it hasn't been well maintained. Before buying a used unit, go online, check reviews, and look on forums for any issues with the manufacturer or that model. And consider hiring an expert to do a survey of the RV unit before you buy it. It could be money well spent.
Okay, let's talk about your down payment. It may be possible to secure a loan without a down payment, but it's rather unlikely. So you'll want to have 10 to 20% of the total RV cost as a down payment. Why? Because just like a house, the more money you can put down up front, it can help lower the monthly cost of the loan. There are a lot of factors that go into monthly payments like APR, the length of your loan, sale price, and so much more. Luckily, there are payment calculators online that can help you get an idea of your estimated costs. Your RV's monthly payment will likely be lower than a house payment, but possibly higher than an auto payment. Or if you're looking to become a full-time RVer, selling your current house or vehicle can often be a great way to create an influx of cash for your new home on wheels. So when you go to start securing your loan, it's best to have the mindset that you are purchasing a second house. If you've ever purchased a home, you understand how complicated securing a mortgage loan can be. Purchasing an RV poses an even bigger challenge because it's considered a luxury loan. Unlike an auto or home loan, it's not considered a necessity, so lenders don't hand these out as easily. The factors that determine eligibility for purchasing a house also determine eligibility for purchasing an RV. This means that you'll need a good debt-to-income ratio to qualify, and lenders may want to use collateral to secure the loan. Sometimes the collateral could be the RV itself. Unsecured loans are also an option, but they typically require higher interest rates and a longer loan length. And as with any loan, a good or excellent credit score will help you seem more desirable to lenders. This will also secure lower interest rates and better terms. With a purchase of this size, a loan can be anywhere from 5 to 30 years depending on the sale price.
So here's a helpful tip. Establish an RV maintenance savings plan where you can regularly deposit money into a dedicated savings account. Every month, try to deposit the cost of at least one retail labor hour at a local RV service facility. Over the course of a year, that will buy you at least 12 of the 20 to 24 annual shop hours that are typically required to keep a motorhome or an RV on the road. Not only do you have to account for the maintenance of your unit, but you also need to keep in mind the cost of insurance. And of course, again, like a car or a home, you should keep your RV insured and comply with state regulations to keep your unit on the road safely.
One final factor to consider when determining your budget is your tow vehicle, if you plan on towing your RV versus driving one. We'll get into the details of the different types of RVs in just a bit, but if you are considering a towable unit, you'll need to have an appropriate tow vehicle if you don't already. You'll need to fully understand your vehicle's towing capacity, especially if you're considering a larger, heavier RV. Certain RVs do require a specific hitch that certain vehicles are capable of having and towing that amount of weight. So keep in mind the necessity and cost of a tow vehicle when setting your budget. Once you have your wish list and have determined your budget, it's time for the fun part, doing your research.
Well, that's the fun part for me. Like I mentioned earlier, RVing is a personal passion of mine. I was RVing with rental units before I ever started working at RV Trader, and I became obsessed with researching units online, probably like many of you. It was so much fun looking at all the different floor plans, kitchen layouts, bed facing options, so much to look at. Renting got me into RVing, but actually browsing and seeing everything that was out there got me hooked. The first unit that we bought was a small used 19-footer by Keystone. We got it when our first son was born, and our last trip in it was when our second son was 7 weeks old. He actually slept in the bathtub in his Moses basket on a couple of our trips, so it was getting a little bit tight for our family of 4. We knew that we needed more room, so we did a bunch of research online before purchasing our second unit, which was a 32-foot travel trailer. And we continued to grow as a family, and we needed more space for our kids and for our toys. So we upgraded again and got our current unit, which is a 40-foot fifth wheel with bunk beds, a garage, and slide outs. If you do not know what a slide out is, it is the portion of the RV that has the ability to expand and to retract to add additional space to the inside of your unit. Some people actually call them bump outs. When it comes to research, there is so much online at your fingertips. In fact, doing your own research without needing to go in person to a dealership for answers is actually becoming the norm. In fact, according to a recent survey on RV Trader, 28% of RV buyers, that's 1 in 4, would consider purchasing an RV without seeing it in person, based on their own online research. And I am actually one of those people. My husband and I purchased our most recent fifth wheel without ever seeing it in person. We did all of the research online and found the perfect unit for us, but it was located in Illinois. The dealer was a fantastic communicator. He shared an abundance of photos and answered thousands of questions that we had about the unit before he personally drove it to us himself. So yes, the first time I actually saw my newly purchased RV was in my driveway. Now, whether you choose to go that route or not, it's totally up to you. Many people want to see and explore the unit in person, but just know that the option to buy sight unseen is available and is absolutely easier than ever.
So whether you're buying your first RV or you're planning to upgrade to a different RV to meet your needs, it's important to be thorough when you're researching. Here are a few recommendations. Start with Google like most of us do when researching any purchase, big or small. Find answers to any specific questions you might have, and keep in mind that as you're researching, your wish list and budget can adjust depending on what you're finding. For example, maybe you thought that you could fit a certain type of RV in your garage, but after taking measurements based on research, it turns out that that type would be too big, so you'll have to reevaluate. Check out pictures, videos, and floor plans of different RVs to see what's out there. Combined with a detailed description, pictures and videos can really show off every detail of the RV inside and out.
Dealers and sellers know that buyers want to see clear, quality images to make informed decisions, and the more, the merrier. And don't forget to look at floor plans. Floor plans are great because they show all of the RV rooms, living spaces, amenities, measurements, and details in one image that pictures and videos alone may not.
Another great resource when you're looking for an RV is to visit RV blogs. A quick Google search will bring up dozens of different blogs you can explore. They really show you a true view of the lifestyle or adventure you're looking for. And same goes for social media. I recommend getting on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest and just start exploring different pages and groups or hashtags. Again, you'll start envisioning yourself in an RV and get really excited about being part of this lifestyle. Be sure to also visit RV review sites like RVinsider.com when you're starting to compare RVs that you're interested in. Reading great reviews and even negative reviews are so valuable when making a large purchase decision like buying an RV. Research manufacturer websites as well. Just like with cars, many people are brand loyal to RV manufacturers. When car shopping, you're going to go with the brand you trust and that others trust too, right? So the same goes for an RV. Whether that's Airstream, Jayco, or any of the other dozens of quality RV brands out there. It's just a matter of gathering information around amenities and characteristics that are unique to the brands you're interested in and what your preferences are. And of course, I recommend visiting classified sites like RV Trader to explore real-life listings to see what's on the market right now. check out prices of specific units, and help you narrow down your search even further toward the RV of your dreams. With over 200,000 new and used RVs for sale on RV Trader, you can explore and filter by any RV type and brand you want. Read through unit descriptions and look at pictures and videos so you can get a feel for each type of unit. You can use the search bar to find specific terms you're looking for, or go straight to the categories to filter by type, make, model, new or used, year, mileage, and more. You can filter by local listings in your area, or you can even consider RVs that are further away since shipping options are available too. As you find ones that you love, save your favorites to your My Trader profile. From there, you can start to narrow your search down to find your perfect unit. Also, there's a whole research section available at rvtrader.com/research that I recommend you check out. There are tools around RV prices, guides, and vehicle history reports through the NADA. There are model guides, insurance coverage options, a loan calculator, warranty, and shipping information, and so much more. You can also visit our blog at rvtrader.com/blog and explore industry topics. Now, let's take some time to really dive into what RV types are out there. As you're researching, you'll start to narrow down your favorites, but how do you choose which one is right for you? I'm going to share a few examples of what you might be looking for and which RV would best match your needs. There are 6 main types of RVs: Class A, Class B, Class C, travel trailers, toy haulers, and fifth wheels. Every RV type is either a drivable RV, also known as a motorhome, that you hop in and drive as is, or a towable RV that you have to hitch to the back of another vehicle. The Class A, B, and C are all drivable motorhomes. Their main advantage is flexibility while traveling, since passengers can move around the cabin, prepare food, and even use the bathroom while in motion. Another benefit is ease of setup. Turn off the engine and just like that, you're camping. Next, let's talk about the towable motorhome options. Towables come in a wider variety of shapes and sizes, from compact teardrop and pop-up campers to travel trailers and fifth wheels. While many motorhomes can sleep 6 or 8, most still only have one rear bedroom. Most motorhomes rely on fold-out couches and convertible dinettes for extra beds, while many towable layouts may include separate bunk spaces. Now let's walk through each type. First, let's say you're like our friend Aiden here. He's a family man with a sense of adventure. He and his wife, 2 kids, and dog actually live in their RV for the majority of the summer and on weekends and other seasons. They travel to various states for sports tournaments during the year and spend their summers traveling the country, exploring national parks and scenic highways along the way. So which RV type is best for Aiden? That would be a Class A. Class A motorhomes are the largest and roomiest RVs on the road, typically ranging from 24 feet to 45 feet in length, and are either diesel or gas-powered. They offer the maximum amount of living and storage space compared to other models and include additional amenities that will make you feel right at home. These units are luxurious and have all the features included in most homes and apartments. Depending on the vehicle, Class A RV amenities can include heating and air conditioning, king-sized beds, full living rooms with sofas, washers and dryers, televisions, kitchens, refrigerators, and full-sized bathrooms. Some Class A RVs also come with slide-outs for additional living space. Class A motorhomes are great for folks like Aiden for full-time RVers because the storage capacity is huge. You can fit everything you would normally have in your house or apartment in this type of RV. It's also great for retirees because there's plenty of room to stretch your legs, and once you park your unit for the night, you're good to go. There's not much maintenance required. More pros are that it can sleep many people, having large holding tanks, lots of amenities, and can even tow a vehicle. Keep in mind though, Class A RVs can be expensive and their size can make navigating challenging, and parking may be restricted in some RV parks. Now let's meet Thomas. Thomas is recently married and he and his partner love exploring. They both work full-time jobs, but want to have the flexibility to leave and travel straight from work for weekend trips. So what RV is best for Thomas? That's a Class B. Class B motorhomes are typically referred to as camper vans and are built on a standard full-sized van chassis. But these vans aren't your typical minivan. They are larger in size and have extra features and amenities. Yet they are easy to maneuver and can sometimes fit in regular parking spots and even access remote areas. Class B RVs often include a raised roof so passengers have the ability to walk upright, a huge plus for travelers. Although Class B RVs are smaller in size than a Class A and have better gas mileage, they can still include all the comforts of home. Most have a living area, sleeping area, kitchen, and bathroom, all the necessities you would need on a short trip. Keep in mind that due to their size, Class B motorhomes do not have much living or storage space compared to the other types of RVs, and they are not recommended for more than 4 people at a time. So if you're like Thomas, you're a minimal packer and you plan on taking short trips, a Class B motorhome might be a great fit for your RV needs. Now let's say hello to Chris. Chris and his wife are recently retired. They both are looking to travel full-time around the country with their cat, but want extra sleeping space for when their grandkids join them. What RV is best for Chris? That would be the Class C. Chris and his wife were made for the Class C. Class Cs are motorhomes that fall right in between Class A and Class B RVs. They are built on a truck or van chassis and have an attached cab section that includes a bed compartment. Class C motorhomes are typically easier to drive than the larger Class A models, considering they are smaller in size. Their mid-size RVs range in size, but most Class C RVs fall in between 20 feet to 30 feet in length. If you've ever been inside or driven a moving truck, you'll recognize the feel of a Class C motorhome right away. These units can be very luxurious and include a wide range of amenities like full kitchens, bathrooms, living rooms, cab-over beds, fold-out beds, and more. Some cons of a Class C can be fuel cost and limited sleeping and storage space depending on the model. So first up on the towable side is Brianna. Brianna and her partner love exploring the great outdoors, but also want to be able to explore nearby cities and towns. She owns an SUV that has 4-wheel drive, and she's used to taking that on her trips both to nature parks and to big cities. She wants to keep having the best of both worlds, being able to comfortably travel and camp in parks, but also easily navigate through cities. For Brianna, the travel trailer is the RV for her. A travel trailer is often called a camper and has become increasingly popular choices for RVers because they're typically a lower price point than Class A, B, or C models. Depending on the size of the travel trailer, you'll typically need an SUV or truck to properly tow the unit. You want to keep that in mind before buying. Travel trailers come in a large variety of styles and can be anywhere from 8 to 40 feet in length. Depending on the specific model, travel trailers typically include living spaces, multiple sleeping areas, kitchens, and bathrooms. One of the main benefits of a travel trailer is that the unit can be detached from the towing vehicle, so you are free to easily travel to nearby destinations and attractions in your car while your trailer is parked in designated areas. Some things to keep in mind are that they can be difficult to maneuver when parking, and people can't be inside it while you're driving. Now let's meet Tim. He's an avid dirt biker. Tim and his son love to explore new trails and paths, and he and his wife love camping. They have friends that they regularly host and camp with. What RV can hold dirt bikes but still have enough room for camping and hosting? For Tim, the toy hauler is best. A toy hauler is a towable travel trailer that features a garage and built-in ramp on the back of an RV or your truck, allowing easy access to any toys or adventure gear the owner might be traveling with. For example, ATVs, motorcycles, mountain bikes, etc. It's important to note that while toy haulers do have a garage in the back, they also include living quarters. They come in a variety of floor plans and typically feature good-sized living areas, kitchens, and sleeping areas. When toys are not in the unit, the extra space usually has drop-down seating for additional living space, or the extra space can be used for storage. Some toy haulers even feature add-on porches when the back door is open. Toy haulers eliminate the need to tow any of the larger items you want to take on the road. They are also a great security investment if you are ever worried about leaving any of your toys unattended. In this type of unit, all of your expensive toys are stored inside the RV and are out of sight and locked away. A toy hauler is also great for those of you who want the flexibility of detaching your car to run errands or explore cities without towing the unit. Plus, like all towables, there's no engine maintenance required. Plus, they have similar amenities as travel trailers. Some cons of a toy hauler is that it can be quite heavy to tow and difficult to park. And finally, let's say you're like Faith. She's a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids, and she and her husband are considering taking the kids on the road and homeschooling while they travel cross-country. She's looking for a unit that has enough space for each person to feel comfortable working, allows for ample storage space, and doesn't feel cramped when everyone is working and relaxing together. If you're like Faith or have a large family, the fifth wheel is perfect. A fifth wheel trailer is a large RV that is towed by a pickup truck. One of the great benefits of a fifth wheel trailer is that you can easily park your trailer and disconnect from your truck. This specific feature is a huge plus for travelers, as the larger Class A units can be harder to maneuver, especially in national parks and through smaller towns. Although fifth wheels are considered trailers, they don't lack in space or size. Each manufacturer has a variety of floor plans. Most include full-sized kitchens, master bedrooms, sleeping areas, living rooms, ample storage space, and bathrooms. Many fifth wheel trailers also have slide-outs. While it might be surprising, most fifth wheels are actually bigger than many motorhomes due to the slide-outs. Fifth wheels are also great for full-time RVers and retirees because the hitch type that the fifth wheel uses distributes weight better than most travel trailers, making it easier and smoother to drive while allowing for the most livable space thanks to the slide-out options. But keep in mind that you'll need to have a specific hitch and vehicle capable of towing this type of unit, and they can be heavy and pretty difficult to park. There may also be length restrictions at some parks or campsites. Okay, so you've created your wish list, figured out your budget, done your research, and chosen an RV type that's right for your needs. You've gone to RV Trader and narrowed down your search to the RV your heart is set on, and now it's time to connect with the seller. And again, in this virtual world, you don't have to immediately visit a dealership or go in person to connect with the seller. There are a number of communication channels that sellers offer that you can use, including, of course, go-to contact methods like emails and phone calls. Or if you have simple questions you want answers to, many sellers offer the options of text messaging or live chat for a quick response. In our recent RV Trader survey, the channel RV buyers found the most valuable when connecting with the seller was text messaging, probably because it's so simple and most of us are already texting a lot on our phones every day anyway, so it's convenient too, right? But I will say, if you're looking for more in-depth information or a closer look, live video chat is really an excellent option.
So dealers and sellers are eager to help you find the right unit. And through live video chats or virtual meetings or through apps like Zoom or FaceTime, they can give you a complete tour of the unit that you're interested in without you ever stepping foot on their lot. Many dealers on RV Trader will give you a full detailed walkthrough of the RV via live video chat, allowing you to view the interior, the exterior, hear the engine running, see the mileage, review the parts or damage, open the refrigerator, open the cupboards, ask questions, and hear their sales pitch directly. Again, you should feel like you are on the lot, walking through the unit with the dealer. So ask all of the questions that you have, even if you have a ton, and make sure that you're taking notes. You want to feel completely comfortable and confident in the unit that you're looking at. And it is pretty great that you can do all of this from the comfort and the safety of your own couch.
Use any of these channels to request more photos, seek out additional details, ask questions, talk financing, make an offer, negotiate price, or communicate about anything else you think is important. On RV Trader, you can click a button from each unit listing that allows you to request more videos and pictures if there's something more that you want to see. According to our recent RV Trader survey, photos and videos were the most important tools when considering an RV purchase sight unseen, followed by clear communication with the dealer as a close second. Don't be afraid to be specific in what you want to see more of. If you're curious how the slide power retractable slide out works on the Forest River Thunderbolt, ask the dealer for a video on how to use it. Or if you want to see the storage space in the Winnebago Navion, ask for a video of the dealer showing the storage spaces. You want to feel like you're seeing the unit for yourself, so be sure to see everything you want. So you've reached out to the seller, all of your questions have been answered, and now you're ready to buy. The purchasing process can be simple, especially in today's virtual world. Many dealerships offer virtual buying options depending on state laws and dealership policies. Check to see if virtual options are available for a final inspection of the RV via live video streaming, signing documents to finalize the sale, obtaining financing or obtaining warranties. You can also check to see if you have to go to the dealership lot yourself or if the RV can be delivered. If you're local, a seller may bring the RV right to your driveway. If you're further away, you may be able to arrange for the RV to be shipped to you. From the moment you start communicating with the dealer or seller, make sure you're paying attention to their customer service. They should be eager to exceed your expectations during the buying process. You'll start to form a relationship with them, and the service you receive can be a major deciding factor. For example, if you're a first-time RV buyer, or even if you're not, you'll likely continue working with them. And if any issues arise after your initial purchase, or if you need routine maintenance care, so you want to make sure you're confident in who you're working with. And if the RV you want is used, you'll want to also look into the history of the RV itself. Ask the seller about the RV's background and current condition. You can visit a website like rvchecks.com for a vehicle history report. Keep in mind that site only offers information on motorized RVs, with the exception of Oregon and Illinois. So you won't be able to use the site for information on travel trailers, fifth wheels, tent trailers, or campers. For those types of RVs, you may need to contact the DMV or appropriate insurance company. If you're looking for a complete history report, sites like bigrigvin.com allow you to enter the VIN number for a more comprehensive check for a small fee. You may also want to consider a warranty. Just like a house or a car, there are appliances and mechanical parts of an RV that may require repairs or replacements. Many dealerships offer warranties when purchasing a unit, but there are also independent companies that offer warranty options too. Again, you can learn more about warranties at rvtrader.com/research.
My husband and I were on a trip with our kids to a national park in Michigan when the fridge in our camper broke. Luckily, we had a warranty, so when we got back to town, we had it serviced and replaced at no cost. A warranty is one way to provide yourself peace of mind before anything happens.
And the last step in the buying process, once your offer is accepted, is to sign the dotted line. And again, whether you set up an appointment at the dealership or with the seller, or have the RV delivered to you is totally up to you. But I do have one last important section to cover, because even though these tips I've mentioned will make it easy to research and buy an RV, I want to give some added advice around avoiding fraud and scams. According to our survey, the fear of being scammed is a top reason why people have reservations about completing an RV purchase online. It's always slightly unnerving to make a significant purchase online, and an RV is definitely no exception, but follow these guidelines I'm about to share and you'll be just fine. There are 3 main things to remember. Confirm that the unit, seller, and deal are real. Use caution when browsing sites, and only use secure payment methods and credit card protection programs. Okay, now let me walk you through each one. How do you make sure the unit, the seller, and the deal itself is real? First, verify that any pictures of inventory are the actual for sale RV and not stock images. To make sure you're buying the specific RV in the pictures, ask the seller for a photo of the unit that includes the seller holding a piece of paper with their name and the date, or anything else that you can think of and want to ask for. It may be a slight inconvenience to them, but you should be more suspicious if they refuse to provide the photo. A seller should always clearly provide the name of their company as well as their physical address, telephone number, and email address. If they don't provide that information, that's an immediate warning sign. If they do provide the information, you need to check that it's accurate by doing a quick search online. Plug the physical address into Google Maps to make sure the location is where a legitimate business might operate. Do a search online for the phone number provided to see if it returns the company or if people report getting spam calls from that number. Ensure that any email or telephone number you are given is an exact match of the contact information on the contact page of the seller's website, of course, if they have one. For example, anyone contacting you from RV Trader directly will have an @rvtrader.com email address, never a Gmail, Yahoo, or any other personal email provider domain. Check online reviews too. Leaving and reading company and product reviews has become a huge aspect of online shopping. People who've been scammed by a company are very likely to have left an online review about their experience. Search for the company's name along with the keyword reviews or scam and see what other people have said. Sometimes companies really do offer amazing deals, but most of the time when something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Scammers will often say you've won a prize, but to claim you have to provide sensitive information and/or send them money for the taxes, fees, or shipping costs. Typically, prizes don't come with any charges to the winner, so that's already a big red flag. But also ask yourself if the prize is reasonable or if it seems over the top. Finally, ask yourself if any deal or giveaway fits the pattern of typical behavior for the company and if they've offered similar deals or prizes in the past. If you've never signed up for a contest or heard of the company making comparable deals to the one they're offering you, that's another huge warning sign. When browsing websites like the seller's website, first make sure it looks professional and legitimate. Most fake websites will look somewhat strange with spelling and grammar mistakes, low-quality product images, and other oddities. This can help them naturally filter out cautious shoppers. They know that if you don't catch simple mistakes on a website, then you're not likely to catch their scam either. Look for other claims on the website that could be verified, like seals of approval or endorsement badges from a company like the Better Business Bureau. Sometimes a scam goes beyond tricking you into sending money, but instead involves directly stealing your identity or hacking your computer and online accounts. So never click on an unknown link in emails or on websites. Hover your mouse over links to preview where it might take you, and only click links when you know and trust the site it leads to. When you pay for something online, you should follow 3 security guidelines. First, always pay on a page that's secured. Secured websites will have HTTPS before the site name. Second, pay by credit card, as you may be able to recover your money from the credit card company if fraud occurs. Many credit card companies will offer a unique credit card number that you can use for specific websites. These card protection services ensure that if somebody gets a hold of your credit card information from a transaction on those select websites, they can't use it on any other sites, saving you from being scammed out of significant money. Third, avoid direct money transfers, as it can be nearly impossible to get your money back if you are scammed or have issues with the product. Don't forget to regularly check your bank statements. Check your accounts regularly instead of waiting for the physical bill to arrive. This helps you control any fraudulent charges and take immediate action by calling your bank or card issuer. And if you ensure that you're following these tips and tricks to avoid fraud and scam, you're setting yourself up for a seamless digital online researching and buying experience for your next RV. To wrap up, because I know I've shared a lot of information today, RV Trader has created a cheat sheet that you can download and save on your computer so that you don't forget the main tips from this webinar. The cheat sheet, along with a number of other virtual buying educational resources, can be found by visiting the URL shown on screen, rvtrader.com/blog/virtual buying. So let's do a quick recap of what I've covered today around how to buy an RV in a virtual world and what you'll have on hand in the cheat sheet. Build your list. Determine your budget. Choose your RV type. Do your research. Connect with the seller. Review virtual buying options, and avoid fraud and scams. Once again, I want to thank Paige for joining this webinar today and lending her expertise and personal examples. I found it incredibly helpful, and I hope all of you did as well.
Absolutely. This was great. Thank you so much for having me.
I know that the thought of using virtual resources when researching and buying an RV can sound intimidating to some, but at RV Trader, we're happy to help you in your search. Check out RVs in your area and beyond by visiting rvtrader.com. Download the cheat sheet and other free resources around virtual buying at rvtrader.com/blog/virtual buying. If you have specific questions, we'll also be holding a live Q&A on Facebook soon, so be sure to follow the RV Trader Facebook page and keep an eye out for that event. Thank you for watching this webinar, and I hope that it'll help you throughout the entire process of finding the perfect RV.